Yo, how's it going? So, Island of Death. Yeah, okay. Let's see what happens on this island.
In 2006, two drunk fishermen drifted close to an out-of-time and mysterious island located in the Bay of Bengal. The fishermen washed ashore and almost immediately were set upon by natives wielding adzes, an ancient and versatile cutting tool. Reportedly, the fishermen were hacked to pieces and buried in the sand by unknown warriors. A couple of days later, a helicopter from the Indian Coast Guard had been sent to investigate the disappearance of the fishermen, but was eventually driven away by archer fire. Before turning back, the helicopter's rotor whipped up sand, unearthing two shallow graves with a pair of corpses. The following day, it is stated that the bodies were reportedly dug up and hung like scarecrows on bamboo poles facing the sea, a message to all those that would dare enter North Sentinel Island. The ancient history of North Sentinel Island is sparse, and little information is known of the people that inhabit it. The island itself is 23 square miles, a little bit larger than Manhattan, and surrounded by barrier reefs. And on land, the island seems to be one impenetrable jungle. The jungle is said to be filled with large groves and pathways home to the Sentinelese people. Shockingly enough, it is estimated that 50 to 200 natives live on the island in voluntary isolation. This is an extremely small civilization. The Sentinelese are known to use bows and arrows, as well as javelins to hunt the indigenous Indian boar that is found on the island, which is most likely their primary food source. However, the Sentinelese don't just use these ancient weapons for hunting. Any effort to go to the island by outsiders is more often than not met with hostile force. Marco Polo, the famous Venetian explorer, wrote of North Sentinel Island, saying, "They are a most cruel generation and eat everybody that they can catch, if not their own race." Polo may have been wrong about their cannibalism, but he is correct in one thing. The Sentinelese are incredibly protective of their island. In 2004, it's documented that after an earthquake in the Indian Ocean, a government helicopter from India surveyed the island and was attacked by multiple islanders with spears, stones, and arrows. The Sentinelese should not be blamed for their aggression. Any outsider who came to a foreign land has only brought death and disease for the indigenous tribes already there. Interestingly enough, the Sentinelese have demonstrated their ability to adapt and evolve with the times, and have disproved the media's portrayal of them living in the Stone Age. For instance, they use metal and iron that is washed up ashore or parts from shipwrecks to tip their arrows and weapons. In fact, indigenous peoples of the Andaman and Nicobar Islands may seldom visit the island and even have cultural similarities. The Sentinelese are unpredictable. One minute you can be giving them a gift and laughing, the next you're getting dragged away into the dense jungle underbrush and there's nothing you can do. As is the way with most tribal groups, they live much more self-sufficient lives, where death can be around any corner. Their sacred traditions are pillars of their physical and spiritual lives, and they must be prepared to do anything and everything to survive. The North Sentinelese were not always just visited by their island neighbors. For nearly 100 years, India was under the rule of the British Crown, and in the summer of 1867, an Indian merchant ship named the Nineveh wrecked on a reef near the island. 106 passengers and crewmen were left deserted on the island. According to In the Forest, Visual and Material Worlds of the Andamanese History, they were left to fend off attacks from the Sentinelese. There are no records on how many casualties were sustained on either side.
Dude, they are protective
the
of their
castaways
land.
were rescued by the Royal Navy, and to this day, you can still see the Nineveh shipwreck on Google Maps. And I don't know about you guys, but if I was stuck here, I would miss my video games. Which is why today's video is sponsored by Bloodline, Heroes of Lithis. Bloodline, Heroes of Lithis is a hero collector fantasy RPG in 3D graphics, where you can not only collect champions, but also build kingdoms, create legendary heirs of your houses by combining the forces of various bloodlines, such as orcs, lycans, demons, and dragonborn.
I mean,
you
the
can find
Sentinelese
yourself the best
probably are like
companions
super
and waifus, and even raise heirs.
probably like super
Customize your champions by marrying different bloodlines
if the apocalypse
and
comes,
the
they're
family tree.
set. Like they don't have to worry
Heroes
about
of
nothing.
Lithis
They're just gonna
features
live their
easy-to-use
day-to-day
controls,
lives
you
like
can
it's
build your
nothing.
own kingdom and economy.
And while here we
it's
are, we're
free to
gonna be
play
like,
for both Android and iOS. Lycanus or Lycans are a
panicking and
must-try
doing
werewolf
everything
clan of
we
assassins
can
with a sleek design. Use my
survive.
link and get the clan of Karg or Dragonborn for free. Taste the mighty power of Fulgur or the demigods. They have the best AoE skills. Use my link and get a half Dragonborn, half demigods hybrid heir for free. Download and try out the game now for free.
That's pretty
Use
cool.
my link in the description box and scan the QR code showing on the screen. You will get an exclusive starter pack worth more than $30 using my link, which includes 200 diamonds, 2 summoning crystals, and 5 stamina potions. And thank you to Bloodline, Heroes of Lithis, for sponsoring this video. Then there's Maurice Portman. Maurice was a naval officer for the Royal Indian Navy in 1876 and is best known for documenting several Adamanese tribes later on between 1879 and 1901. During his time as superintendent of the Adamanese, he decided to undergo an expedition to contact the unknown tribe of North Sentinel Island. Predictably, the Sentinelese were not fond of the visit. Unfortunately,
I'm pretty sure.
2 adults and 4 children from North Sentinel Island were kidnapped by expeditionary forces and held for over 2 weeks. They were brought to Port Blair, the capital city of the Andaman and Nicobar Islands. A quote by a colonial officer explains that they sickened rapidly and the old man and his wife died. So the 4 children were sent back to their homes with quantities of presents. It is also recorded that Portman visited the island again and left gifts for the natives. But he also went several more times over the course of 2 years, with unknown consequences. Portman was not just an administrator over the Andaman Island penal colony. He took a great number of photographs of the Andamanese people, but no photographs of the Sentinelese have survived. Some of these photos were requested by the British Museum, while others were requested by the government of India. Author Satadru Sen, in his book Savage Bodies, Civilized Pleasures, M.V. Portman and the Andamanese states that Portman continued to take photographs of the Andamanese in Port Blair until the end of his stay in the island, documenting information about their anthropological details, showing a marked interest in the measuring of their penises. It goes on to say that he posed the Andamanese men in homoerotic positions while taking pictures of them. Portman himself wrote in his book, The Exploration and Survey of the Little Andamans, many of the men are very good looking, as they have none of the thick lips, high cheekbones, and flat noses of the Negro type, though the women are rather of the Hottentot Venus order of beauty. Colonial racism at its finest. Other sources say that Portman was a pedophile, obsessed with the bodies of young Andamanese men, and that all of his expeditions were really raids to kidnap boys and assault them. Portman and his expeditions wouldn't be the last to see of the Sentinelese. In fact, Indian anthropologists can be seen giving coconuts to the Sentinelese in 1991. This was a more notable and peaceful attempt to contact the tribe. But remember, not all encounters with the Sentinelese go as planned. John Allen Chow, the dead missionary. John Allen Chow was an adventurous, religious missionary. As a young adult, Chow participated in missionary trips in Mexico, South Africa, Iraqi Kurdistan, and even the Andaman Islands in 2015, but ultimately not reaching North Sentinel Island at that time. Written in 2018, this New York Times article titled John Chow Aced Missionary Boot Camp, Reality Proved a Harsher Test. Chow participated in an all-nations missionary boot camp in 2017, where training included a mock native village with staff members pretending to be aggressive while wielding weapons. Dan McCarthy, a friend of John Chow who went on a mission overseas together, said, "You learn the culture of those people. You learn their language, you blend in, and then you hope you get a chance to share Jesus, because they ask questions about how you've been modeling his love. You don't go in and force it down their throats." This was the year that John Chow expressed ambition to convert the Sentinelese. In other words, John experienced a divine calling to bring God to the islanders. It seems quite ironic that he showed so much dedication to converting the Sentinelese, but was reported to have never pushed the gospel gospel on his secular peers. For example, Nicole Hopkins, a friend from Chow's university, said that her sister was sick in the hospital and Chow dedicated time to supporting her recovery, but not once did he try to push his religion on her. Chow may have not been a zealous, over-the-top missionary, but in his own words, Oral Roberts University missions gave me direction in my life. Unfortunately for him,
man.
this direction led him to North Sentinel Island. Chow's decision can be explained in a simple phrase: play stupid games, win stupid prizes. After devising a plan and saving some money, Chow established himself in Port Blair in 2018, finally embarking on his mission to make contact with the natives of North Sentinel Island. He is quoted as saying, "North Sentinel Island was Satan's last stronghold on Earth." In Chow's eyes, reconciliation with God through Christ is the one most important goal in life. On November 15th, Chow attempted his first visit. It is highly illegal to go near the island, so Chow bribed a local fisherman into bringing him closer. Once he was close enough, he used his own canoe to reach the shore. He tried to row to the island and communicate with the natives, but turned back rather quickly after hostile responses. Chow was on a mission though, and he didn't let one setback stop him. He was determined to spread the good word of the Lord. Battle cries, arrows, and javelins weren't going to get in his way. Over the next 3 days, he continued to visit the island a couple more times before fully testing his luck. In Chow's own journal, he recorded that the islanders reacted to him with bewilderment, amusement, and hostility. Chow tried to communicate with them by singing songs and speaking in the Southern African language, Xhosa. In his diary, Chow stated that the Sentinelese communicated with high-pitched sounds and gestures. According to one of Chow's last letters, he tried to give gifts to the Sentinelese during one of his visits, but was shot by an arrow that pierced the Bible he was holding in front of him. I can't help but think this only enforced his behavior. In his journal, he wrote that he was scared and did not want to die.
Call it a day. Just call it a day. Like, bruh, like if you... Yep, that quote fits perfectly, man. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes, because, bruh, like, you could see, like, I don't know, man. It's just ridiculous to me, bro. Like,
evangelical message hung over him. Chow knew he was risking his life, but felt it was worth it to declare Jesus to these people. Even after many warnings, threats, and seemingly a life-saving miracle, Chow still didn't get the message. On November 17th, Chow decided to go back to the island in an effort to get through to the Sentinelese. Shortly after his arrival, local fishermen saw the islanders dragging his body in the sand. We may not know exactly what transpired when he set foot on the island, and the fishermen reported his death to friends in Port Blair and Indian authorities. To this day, Chow's mother believes he is still alive through the work of my prayers. Chow's death is a sad tale of misfortune and misguided ambition. However, the killing has sparked debates on religious conversion and the right to be left alone. Even still, some people claim that Chow was not a radical fundamentalist. For example, Mary Ho, leader of All Nations, the evangelical organization that trained Chow, describes him as a martyr. She said in a statement, "The privilege of sharing the gospel has often involved great cost, and we pray that John's sacrificial efforts will bear eternal fruit in due season." Today, North Sentinel Island remains one of the least explored and researched places on Earth. Whether it be assimilating the Sentinelese under the guise of religious zeal, or treating them like a colonist's twisted fantasy, the Sentinelese simply want a place to call home without interference from the modern world, and it is best they are left to the isolation they so vigorously defend, so that we can stop acting surprised when it's met with deadly force.
Yeah, bro, just leave them alone. I don't know what you can understand about that. I hate how... What the heck was this? What was this?